Well, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. I know we've been kind of off and oning it for since October, anyways, just to
Hmm.
trying to get you on here and just to I don't know share your story a little bit because it's just one of those things. Is another one of these. I love teaching people about players in the league. I love teaching people about players in the league. They're doing amazing things outside of the league too, and you're just one of those stories that
Yeah.
really hits home as far as this stuff goes. Like this guy gets it, and he's wanting to pass that knowledge on to the next generation, even after him, while he's still playing baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, for sure. I appreciate it. And obviously love all the stuff you're able to do for the league. It helps not only us, but the league in general just get some recognition and get noticed a little bit more and grow into what it is now, which I never thought it
well,
would be. And I started in 2016. So, and you've
yep.
been following it for way longer than that. So probably
Yeah,
even
kicking and
crazier
screaming at times,
for
but
you to see
yes,
what it is.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of fun as far as this stuff goes and everything else. Like you mentioned, you started in 2016. You came out of the Ontario Blue Jays program. Was Dino coaching you at the time, or was he in a different program? Was he a different group and with him you were going through?
Yeah. So the way it works at OBJ, and it still does, each age group you'll have a different head coach. So
Okay.
I was I was lucky enough. Dino usually did the 17-year-old team. I was lucky enough to play for him when I was 17. And then 18, I played for the guy who usually does the 18s. But yeah, I played for Dino when I was 17. But you're always around these coaches throughout the winter and the fall. So being able to actually like play for them is a whole different thing. It's kind of cool the way we have it set up and the way I was brought up in it too. Like I played for Sean Travers, who helps out with Guelph too, when I was
Yep.
16. So I went from him to Dino and then to our 18-year-old coach. So you get a lot of baseball knowledge, and being able to have different coaching styles was a big thing for me as a player too. Dino was very, very relaxed, obviously, sort of
Yep.
like he is now.
Yep.
Obviously, a little more hands-on with high school players, but similar coaching style. Like he's going to let you be who you are, and most guys succeed under that, right? Like we've seen what he's done in Guelph since he came back, and it was very similar to that when I played for him with OBJ. It was he's going to take care of the players. He'll fight for the guys when he needs to, obviously, and
Yep. Which he's done
when
many
he snaps,
occasions.
he snaps. Yeah, when he
Some poor
snaps, he
chair out there
snaps.
is
But
in a waste bin somewhere because of that, but still.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I got to see that at the high school level first. I was like, oh, I didn't know Dino had that in him. But now I'm sort of used to it. When it happens, it happens,
Yeah.
and the wires cross and he goes. But it's what you want as a player, right? Like you
Oh,
want a guy
exactly.
that's going to
You,
fight
you,
for
you
you
want a guy that's
and
going to
stand
fight
up
out for you.
for the team.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So you started your collegiate career in Chattanooga State for 2 years, and then you
yeah,
went to Canisus College for your junior and your senior years. You played with some amazing guys down there, as far as a lot of those guys too, and you had a couple of great years as well. I think you were like second in stolen bases or something, and tied the team in home
yeah,
runs on in your senior year. I'm trying to remember all the stats,
yeah.
but it's just there's a lot to process with you guys. It's like okay,
Oh, I know. You probably have to go through so many stats. I don't know how you do it.
oh, I try to remember them all in the head. 'Cause I'm terrible at keeping. I'll take the notes, but I'm terrible at reading off them. Just because again, it's just if I can't absorb it, I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
It's not gonna sound right coming out of my mouth.
right.
Yeah. So then you just when you got there, of course, you were with the Barry Bay Cats through that. I guess the tail end of their big run. So 2000,
Yeah,
2016, 2017, and then 2018 was when the run.
yeah,
I guess officially the band broke up. Then that's what we called it
yes.
back then. And then I guess in 2019 you came to Guelph in 2019 or was it 2020? I can't remember. Sorry.
2019, I graduated. I didn't play that summer because I was hoping to play affiliate ball. Didn't end up working out.
Yeah.
So 2020, I don't know. There was COVID in there too, and
Yeah,
I
I
was in
know. It
that
was
COVID
just
draft. I didn't. I got picked by London. Didn't end up going. And then came. Well, I played that one game that to keep the streak
the
at
legacy
Labatt
game.
going,
Yep. Yep.
and then yeah, and then I think it might have been 2021. I don't know. I don't look at the stats much, and
No,
I don't know my
that's probably a good
my
thing. That's probably a good thing you don't look at the
yeah,
stats much. No, as
yeah,
far as
no,
that
it
stuff, yeah,
is,
because
it is.
I remember when Dino officially signed to come to coach the Royals and everything else. you and Darren Schroeder were the first two guys he plunked back out of the
Yeah.
Barry. I don't want to say out of Barry, but it was just, it seemed like that's where you guys were. He knew you guys. He knew what he wanted. He wanted a shortstop that could hold this team together. And
Yeah.
as much as that stuff goes, he says, and I have to agree with him. You're among the best that play this game in this league throughout the years. Like I've been very fortunate to hear the stories about the Nick DiCarlos who played for the Guelph Royals, Eric Lasky's. I was very fortunate to grow up in that era when Lasky was here in the Royal City and everything else and playing that stuff. There's just then watching you play it with the same passion and how you approach the game is just so great to see how things have transpired for you as far as this stuff goes. And now that you're going into, I don't want to, you're flipping hats here as well with the Ontario Blue Jays and your own projects as well. You're now teaching the younger generation how to play the game and play it well.
Yeah, no, coming to Guelph, obviously from Barrie, Barrie was a special place for me, obviously, with the amount of winning we did. I think we had that crazy win streak of like, we swept the playoffs in one year and then we came back and won like 20 something in a row. So we had like I don't know, a massive win streak. I think it's still the record for most consecutive
I'm pretty
wins
sure
in a
it is,
row.
yeah, because you guys in 2017
Yeah,
they went
so
on a 10-0 record to go through the playoffs, and then yeah, it was like the next year. I don't think you guys lost till sometime late, and I think you only lost maybe 3 or 4 games that year.
yeah, no, I remember that year quite well. We ended up funny story. I think we lost to Toronto. I think Toronto snapped the streak because we all went out to the Toronto Beer Fest the night before, the Saturday night, and then the Sunday 2 p.m. start kind of bit us in the butt. So me, DeGrace, Brandon Dew, all those guys, I remember that fondly. I don't remember much of the night before, but I do remember I think we got smoked too. It might have been like 12-2 or something like
I
that. And
think
we
I
were like,
remember
oh,
that.
well,
I think I remember seeing the box score and going, "Holy crap, they lost!" And I was like, "Going, there's got to be the story behind it." Well, now we know what the story behind it was, but
yeah, there's this story for the record books. But no, like in Barrie, Kyle DeGrace and Brandon Dew, and Kevin Atkinson, they all coached me, and Chris Nagorski, they all coached me at OBJ. So very similar to a little bit of what I'm trying to do in Guelph is get former and present OBJ guys like Tack, JD was OBJ, Malik Collymore, Brandon Dean, list goes on and on, right?
yeah, exactly.
Sort of bring what we did in Barrie there, just because like when I tell kids that I coach now this all the time, if they have the opportunity to play in the IBL, because a lot of college summer coaches will place them in the league. My coach didn't end up doing that for me in JUCO, so I just came home, played, worked, trained. My work was actually coaching with the OBJs. I did all the summer camps and stuff, but I was able to train and then play 3 to 4 times a week, so still get my at bats in. I had to train in the weight room. Like I was a pretty small kid. I don't know if you remember when I first started, but now ended up developing. But being able to be around a more veteran guys that have done it locker room before really helped me into my second year of JUCO, like being around DeGrace, Castaldo, those guys. And if you look at the numbers, my freshman year offensively, and then sophomore year at junior college offensively, they're night and day different. DeGrace actually helped me out with my swing during BP one day in Toronto. I'll always remember that moment. But yeah, being around guys that have done it and sort of like it's not a pro league, but a pro style environment where you have guys that played indie ball, you have guys that ended up in the big, you have guys that played affiliated ball or Division I ball. Being able to be around them and understand the game at a different level than the collegiate level. The collegiate level is very structured with a lot of offensive signs, hit and runs, bunts, stuff like that. But the IBL sort of teaches you how to be more of who you are yourself as a player, obviously in a constructed environment, but succeed using what you have at your disposal as opposed to, okay, guy gets on, automatic sack bunt, we're going to try and steal, hit and run. More teaching you the game at a more organic level where now you understand truly what the game is about. You don't have a coach calling everything for you, right?
No,
So
exactly.
you're able to develop that IQ, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Well, exactly. You just look at what the Royals were able to do in that Welland series last year too. It's just a textbook
Yeah.
example. It's like the suicide squeeze in that late situation. It was just like, okay, that's not that's not normally seen in this league or many leagues at all
No.
anymore. So it's just like when you guys pulled it off, it's like, okay, it's still good to see. It's still see the
Yeah.
fundamentals coming back out there. I remember working on the drills with you guys over the years, just
Yeah.
out in the pitchers, PFPs, and everything else too. It's just the Saturday morning
Yeah.
drills with those things, and it was just great to see it pulled off as far as that stuff goes. So if you're
Yeah.
teaching somebody how to play shortstop, what were you trying to most thing you're trying to impart off them as the ball is going from the pitcher's hand to the batter? What are you trying to teach them? What are you looking for as a shortstop? Are you trying to read it off the bat? You're looking for certain tendencies. What are you trying to go for?
Yeah, the biggest thing, and I was lucky enough to have Sean Travers as my infield coach when I played OBJ.
Yeah,
He's one of the best infield minds I've ever been around. And then at junior college, I had Greg Dennis, who he's still there. He played shortstop at Baylor and third base at Florida State, and they went to the World Series. He played for Mike Martin,
yeah,
the legendary college coach. So I had two amazing infield minds that sort of taught me how to play the game. Biggest thing, even before we get to that point, is just knowing what has to happen. Um, what you're doing with the ball, whether it's hit to your forehand, backhand, right at you,
yeah,
your pre-pitch positioning. So understanding if a guy like Salazzo's up, where am I playing? I'm probably playing over second base or more up the middle, right?
yeah,
I'm playing against a guy like Cleveland Brownlee, I don't know. I'm standing almost in the outfield grass in the
yeah,
sixth hole.
yeah,
Like I have time, and then understanding this ball's hit 100 miles an hour, which Cleveland can do on the ground. I can catch it, and I might be able to run it over to first base. So, like, understanding those times. Um,
That's not saying
no
Cleveland's
offense to
slow.
Cleveland, I love Cleveland. I love
Yeah,
them to death, but that's the reality of the game, right?
yeah,
Understanding the personnel on the other team, the batted ball speed, stuff like that. So you got to have that first, even before the ball's hit. And then the next thing for infielders in general, I try and just preach athleticism, right? Like
yeah,
you got to master the fundamentals first, but some plays that go off the script, sort of like I always compare it to like QBs when they're scrambling, right?
yeah,
Like off script plays, right? They have those scramble drills where they have to be creative. We sort of, as I teach my infielders, like we have to sort of be that, right? There's going to be plays where you don't have time to think. Um, and there's certain balls that will cause you to do certain things, right? Like you got to know on your backhand how much time do you have. Again, that goes back to the runner. So more so pre-pitch preparation is going to lead for that success, or lead to that success defensively, and knowing where you have to do with the ball and the timing of the game. A lot of young infielders struggle with the timing of the game and making that jump from the high school level to the collegiate level, where you're now with the transfer portal competing against 22 to 23-year-old men at some points, and you're an
yeah.
18, 19-year-old. That jump happens really fast, and you got to be ready for it. So, speed of the game and then being prepared pre-pitch is probably the biggest things for me, other than athleticism and all the stuff that gets you to be a shortstop to start with.
How much communication is going on between you and your second base partner, your third baseman, stuff on the field? Like that, I don't know, is it mostly hand signals? You guys got codes or something as far as what's going on out there?
Yeah. So funny you mention that because I'm one of the more reserved guys. Obviously,
Yeah,
off the field, I don't talk too much. In the locker room, I'll hang out, whatever. But on the field, once I cross the lines, I talk almost every pitch. To second baseman, first baseman, third. I talk to everyone on the field, minus the catcher, basically, because he's too far away.
yeah,
But just knowing as the shortstop, and the biggest compliment I ever got was from my third baseman I played with at Canisus. He was like, "Man, I love playing infield with you. You like command the game from the
mhm,
shortstop position," and that's what I try and preach to all the infielders I have. Is you are not responsible just for only yourself, but for the every other player on the field, including outfielders. Like if you can see something in a swing from a guy, and you can see the pitch is called better than the outfielders, you have the ability to turn around, hey, like make some adjustments, bring a guy in, and it's your job to know that. So being able to command the infield, and like I talk to Tack all the time, move him around, move second baseman around, whether it's
yeah,
Brando or Franklin or or Gartz even sometimes. He needs some help positioning on the infield when he's
Yeah.
at second. So yeah, the communication aspect is key. I don't do a ton of talking off the field, but once across the lines, it's definitely go time with the communication.
Awesome. So for the casual Canadian baseball fan, can you explain a little bit what's going on with this transfer portal stuff? Because as much as I kind of tune into the college stuff in the States, it's
Yeah.
still like, what is this?
Yeah, so the transfer portal, it's basically when I played before this was introduced, the transfer portal still existed, but completely different rules.
Yeah.
When I played, if you were to transfer schools, let's say I went from Canisus to another Division One, I'd have
Yeah.
to sit out a full year.
Yeah, I remember that part because I
Now,
remember some guys would transfer
yeah,
and everything else, and they wind up being like a red shirt for the year or whatever. But now
a
it's
red
like,
shirt. Yeah, you
yeah,
have to red shirt. So now it's free transfer. So you can transfer from Canisius to Ohio State, and now you can play right away. Second thing involved with the transfer portal is NIL, where now teams can pay players to play for their program. So you'll see a lot of the mid-major programs, they will lose players to the bigger programs because the kid will have more opportunities to get seen by pro scouts. It's a higher level.
yeah,
Or B, they're getting paid. So the school goes, hey, we can give you X amount of dollars to come here and play. Just go through the transfer portal. Everything gets signed through. And now you're getting paid to play, or you're getting more of a scholarship. So it's more of a free agent type market
okay,
in every single year in college baseball. And now there's some stuff going on with junior college eligibility. Does it count? Does it not count? Some kids are taking their cases to court, like the quarterback on Vanderbilt
yeah.
football,
I heard about
to
that.
try and not get those junior college years to count. So if those 2 years, 3 years don't count, now your eligibility clock, so your 4 years of eligibility started when you transferred out of that junior college when you were like 21. So
Yeah,
you could have guys going up to 25, 26 years old
that's
in
scary.
college baseball. So yeah, it's a crazy environment. I'm like, that's not the most in-depth knowledge, or that could
No, but
be
at least,
changing. That's just as far as I know. Hopefully tried to explain it as simple as
well,
possible.
no, that makes a lot more sense from a standpoint of a casual observer from here in Canada because we don't have those rules.
Yeah.
We don't have the NIL stuff up here when I do the OUA baseball in the fall, and it's just like, okay, so what the heck is going on down there? But now it makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hopefully that helps out a little bit.
yeah. All right, let's turn gears. We're going to hear now. We haven't heard anything about the Guelph Royals yet as far as signings or anything like that. Yes, no, are you back? What's going on? Are we allowed to
Yeah, I'm
say?
100% playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 100% playing. Eakin sent me my contract this week. I actually
Okay.
signed it this morning because he told me to get it back to him this weekend, and I was in baseball mode this morning because
Yeah.
I knew I had this interview, and then I'm going into the OBJ facility later today, so I just fired that over. But yeah, I'm coming back.
Awesome.
Again, it'll be limited capacity during the season,
Well, exactly, because you're coaching.
regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm coaching like it always is, and then hopefully I can turn it on again in the playoffs. Always somehow find a way to do that. The legs
Yeah.
start working again, start stealing some bases and getting on base a little bit more with consistent at bats.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be back trying to try and finish the job this year, hopefully.
Well, hopefully for the Royals fans and everything else, that's some great news. And I was going to put a lot of people's minds at ease as far as my role has shifted as far as I'm not going to be actually in the broadcast booth as much this year myself, just because got a million other things going on, little side projects here and there that I can't really officially get into yet because nobody's bothered to announce it. I guess I haven't also typed my own press release about it yet, so that's probably what has to happen. But it's going to happen. So Connor, thank you so much for taking the time. I know we got to fix your spelling on the league stats thing because it still comes up with an O instead of an E.
And still, I've been in this league for what, 8 years now, and I can't get my
Well,
name
I was
right.
just like, I'm looking, going, wait a minute, which way is it? Because it's just like, I didn't want
Yeah,
to
no,
spell it wrong. It's with the E.
it's ER and then Morro with no W on the end. But
Yeah, like
I'm used
I
to
know
it
in
at this
the.
point. Usually
I'll get on
it's
that.
one or the other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
thank
get
you.
on that
I would
because I was just
appreciate
like,
that.
It was weird. It was like, which way is it? Like I'm looking at everything you've ever sent me was the E, so I'm going, okay, it's with the E. But I
Yeah,
look at the
no,
league stats and I'm
I
like,
don't care too much.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't care too much, but my grandma and my mom probably every time they see it, they're like, they'll never get your name right. No,
Well, I
will
will
they? And
see
I'm
what
like,
I can do from
we'll
my end.
see.
I might know a guy
Yeah,
that can fix that now, so we should be okay.
yeah. No, I appreciate that, Neil, and yeah, thanks for having me on, and hopefully see you around the ballpark a ton this summer because
Definitely.
always love seeing you there and listening to you do some play by play, whether it's with us or around the league. So it's always a good time in the summer.
Conner Morro, folks, he will see you at a ballpark near you this summer.